much. We're going to move through this relatively quickly. I'll save some time at the end for questions. And at that time, you can ask me anything you want. You can ask about my practice, individual questions about your practice. I promise if you stay till the end, I'll talk to you about some things that you'll get to take advantage of, but it'll be well worth your time. Let me tell you a little bit about the title of this webinar and why I called it this specifically. We've been doing work with coaches, myself and Numi, for over a year now. Numi's been doing it for almost 20 years. I've been doing it for over a year. And I am flabbergasted at the way coaching certification schools are setting coaches up to be quote unquote successful. Time and time again, I see these coaches come out of their certification all geared up and excited, ready to change the world, right? Because they've got their certification. And too many times they don't know a daggum thing about how to run their business, how to find those paying clients, how to sell, how to make money. And I'm floored at it. And I got to the point where I was so angry that I started to partner with Numi on ways that we could help because I just couldn't believe it. And what's even worse is I see now other companies preying, literally predatorily preying on coaches all over the world. And you tell me if you haven't seen this on Facebook or LinkedIn or in your Instagram DMs where you have these companies messaging you right now. I'll bet some of you had this in the last week where they're saying, I'm a marketing agency and I can get you 30 to 50 appointments every month. I can fill your calendar with appointments. You just pay me $5,000 a month or $3,000. I can get you with LinkedIn, fill your calendar, all this kind of stuff. They say all these things. And I'm telling you right now, it's garbage. They are preying on you as a coach because your schools didn't set you up to succeed. And you're frustrated and you're bitter and you're desperate to try to get ahead. And they're trying to take advantage of it. And if you'll stay on, I'll tell you at the end, I'll let you ask me what to do when those questions come up from those marketing agencies. I'll tell you exactly what to say to them to get rid of them in the easiest way. I'll tell you the 3-step method that I use to get rid of them every single time. But it's because of that why we're going to go through this and why I called this what it is. So let me show you this first slide here. There's never been a better time to be a coach. Some of you have heard some of this data. Nobody on this call should be surprised to hear of what COVID-19 is. If you don't know what COVID-19 is, open your eyes, right? Look at some of this data. A third of people are worse sleeping, worse eating. Nearly 9 out of 10 people have higher stress. There's 33 million people unemployed right now. And all these problems, all of them, can be cured or solved with coaching. Now, this is no disrespect to therapeutic practices or psychiatric care. I think all of those have their place. And I actually believe psychiatric medicine is fantastic for diagnosis. But coaching, your world, my world, that is about solving. That is about long-term solution. And all this data can be fixed with coaching. But here's where the problem is. Look at this data. These are the brutal facts. And if you don't know this data, you're probably feeling it. There are right now 650 plus coaching schools in the world, 650 plus. And their fee ranges, range between $97, that's for these weekend boot camps, up to $25,000 US to get some sort of a certification. But look at this next data point. 73%, that is 7 out of 10 coaches will make less than $10,000 in their first year. And 40% of coaches will never reach more than 10 paying clients. We have 18 people on this call, almost 20 people on this call. And that means 8 people on this call will never reach 10 paying clients ever in their career if the data holds true. That's the brutal facts. Even though I'll go back a slide, there's never been a better time to be a coach. These facts hold true. And why? You tell me if you can relate to any of this, any of these statements, if any of these things feel like you. I love coaching. It's my calling in life. Oh, I just love it. But I don't know how to manage my time correctly. I just can't seem to focus. I don't know how to find new clients. How many of you on this call have said that before? I don't know how to find them. Or how about this one? I just don't know how to prioritize to know what I should focus on. I kind of want to do content, or I want to do videos, or I just don't know. How about this one? And I hear this one all the time. I'm terrible at sales. I wish people could just find me and see I'm a good coach. I love this. I'm tired of trying to explain to people what I do and what coaching really is. I know you all hear that or say that. And this one I hear all the time. I don't know what to charge for my coaching. I struggle justifying higher fees. If any of those are you, any of those in some fashion are you, you are in the right place. Pay attention, focus in, because you're going to walk away with something, I promise. Our goal is to give you something that'll help you that you didn't learn in your practitioner certification so you can build your practice. If you're a new coach, you're going to learn your first steps of what you should have learned but didn't so you can get those first clients. If you've been at this for a while and you're grinding and you're frustrating and you're thinking, I'm done, I quit, or you're like, I got to go all in, this is going to give you the tactical focus of what you're supposed to focus on to build it. That's who it's for. Now, let me tell you, this is my slide that I hate, but the reason I bring this up is I know what I'm doing. I'm not a schlub. I'm not somebody who's talking theory or something I read from a book. I'm an executive. I have been for a long time, and I'm a business coach. I've worked with Amazon, CenturyLink, State Farm, all these other companies. I've won awards for entrepreneurship, sold a business. In addition, I have my own coaching practice. I've been named the #1 business coach in Florida, been written about in a couple of publications. As well, my coaching practice is $500,000. That's what it's pacing this year. It'll be $500,000 this year. Last year was about $250,000. This year, I'll do $500,000 in my coaching practice. And I coach part-time, about 25 hours a week. Everything I'm going to talk to you about are things that I do. No theory, no, fancy stuff that I believe works. Only things I do. That's how I know it works. This isn't some guy on a Facebook trying to sell you a course that I hope kind of theoretically kind of works. This is real tactics, blocking and tackling stuff I do every single day. So let's jump into it. I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. First of all, about your undeniable authority and what that is. The difference between a niche and undeniable authority. There's a difference, and you got to know it. You got to live it. I'm going to talk to you about OPAs and why you have to know that and take advantage of it. And then I'm going to talk to you about your system. These 3 things, oh baby, once you get them, watch out, because here comes your coaching practice. Okay. Now, this little doodle here, this is how I started my practice. Okay. This is what I did. This is how I started my practice. Okay. This is how I started my practice. And I'm sure some of you can relate to this. I got a name. I paid somebody to design my logo. My first logo was so ugly, my wife wouldn't even look at it. And of course, remember, she makes fun of my hair. So there's a lot of what I do that she won't look at. But she hated it. I went and got business cards. How many of you have done that? I went and bought a bunch of business cards. I don't know why. It's not 1998, but I went and bought business cards because I thought it was cool. I went and got a website. And for some reason, I designed my website yellow, even though yellow wasn't even my color. But I got a website. Then I did a Facebook page and a LinkedIn page. And then I went and found some different lead sources, Numi, Thumbtack, Bark. I had all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, oh baby, got everything. And remember, at this time, I was a Forbes contributor, had an MBA. I had already sold a business. I thought, look, I'm the bee's knees. Like, there's no better business coach than me. So I had all these things, and guess what happened? Jack shiz happened. I ended up getting a lot of these free consulting sessions for people, these free consultations. I got a bunch of few clients, but they couldn't afford my services. So, like an idiot, I gave away coaching for free to a ton of people, which, by the way, if you're giving away coaching for free, it's called advice. It ain't coaching. I learned that the hard way. And then I only actually got 2 paying clients after 6 months. 2. A lot of frustration, a lot of money spent, a lot of grind. I was frustrated. And I realized I must be missing something. There just had to be something I was missing. I was a smart guy. I had built a business. I had sold it. I was currently at the time running a $90 million business as a chief revenue officer. I was like, look, I got to be smarter than this. And so I slowed down. I started to think about it, and I figured out what I was missing. Let me show you this. Harvard Business Review wrote about this. The mistakes coaches make. And the number one mistake, they try to serve everybody. They fail to actually solve what people need and instead focus on what they want to do. In other words, coaches fail to have a niche. Now, everybody on this call, I'm sure, has heard this. If you Googled, what should I do to start my coaching practice? One of the first things you're going to read, you got to have a niche. You got to have a niche. And everybody hears that. Yet, without fail, I run into coaches time and time again where they say, oh, I struggle. I don't know how to get a niche. It's so hard. Because of this question. They say, I'm leaving money on the table because I can help everybody. I know so many people that need the niche, Don. I know that, but I can help everybody. My coaching can help every single person. I'm a relationship coach. I'm not picking on somebody on the call had said they were a relationship coach. I'm not picking on you, but I'm using that as an example. I'm a relationship coach, and everybody has relationships, right? That's an example. But this is something to remember. And I was wrestling with that because I was a business coach and I thought I could help every business. But I had to remember this. If you can help everybody, then you can help nobody. If you can help everybody, then you can help nobody. You got to simplify it down. This is a CEO. His name is Russell Brunson. He's the CEO of a company called ClickFunnels, and he taught this, and he says it all the time. There are riches in the niches. The more tight you get, the smaller your market, the smaller the focus, the more big you are, the easier they are to find you. Let me explain. Let me show you the math. Always start with the math. Your market is big enough to handle you. If your average customer pays you $497 a month, which is a low ticket, and let's say your target market niche is divorced women, you're helping divorced women recover from divorce. There are 22 million divorced women every single year in the United States. That means it's a new market every year. It turns over. And you get, I don't even know what percentage that is, 0.00001% of that. And that doesn't even count compounding. If you keep some of them on a monthly basis, you have a 6-figure coaching practice. You only have to average 16 a month to get a 6-figure practice right there in that target market. This is the key. And this is where it connected with me. When I couldn't figure out the niche, I changed the words to this: your undeniable authority. So I want all of you right now that's on the call, I want you to get rid of the concept of niche. Get rid of that and start with this: your undeniable authority. Now, what is undeniable authority? Undeniable definition is simple. It's an adjective, means plainly true, unquestionably excellent, or genuine. Okay. And authority is the power to influence, command, or some expert, this super powerful expert. So if I combine those, your undeniable authority is your plain, unquestionable, genuine ability to influence, command thought, or be an expert. How can anybody see you as a plainly, unquestionable, excellent expert in a field or area? And this is where it's so important. Growing your coaching practice has nothing, almost nothing to do with your quality of coaching. I'm going to say this again so everybody can hear it. Growing your coaching practice has almost nothing to do with your quality of coaching, but has everything to do with your ability to sell coaching. That's the difference. And your ability to sell coaching has to do with this: your undeniable authority, so that people can see you in a different light. They can see you as an expert in a certain area. Now, why does undeniable authority matter? Look at these tools. I have a hammer, I have a screwdriver, and I have a chainsaw. Now, all of these are what's called tools. Every one of those are called a tool. All would be found perhaps in a garage of some sort, and they all fall under the tool category, but each of them are used for a very specific problem. I would never use a hammer to cut down a tree, just like I would never use a screwdriver to, pound in a nail. And I would never use a chainsaw to screw in a screw. This is where I want it all to connect with every coach on here. Some of you are going to your market and saying, I'm a tool. I can handle every one of your problems, whether you're a nail, whether you're a screw, or whether you're a tree. I can do it all. But your clients are saying, look, I don't need somebody that can do it all. I'm a tree. I just need to have somebody cut it down. Or I just need somebody to hammer in this nail. I don't need a jack of all trades. I just need one problem. So I'm just looking for a hammer. Yet you're communicating all the things you can do and yelling it all the time. And all they're looking for is a hammer. That's how important undeniable authority is. It has to be that loud and that clear. Your undeniable authority is the marketable permission you obtain in order to sell to particular prospects. It's literally you getting permission to sell to these people. And it is so important. And I'll give you the perfect example that comes up all the time that I hear from new coaches. I will talk to coaches that have no undeniable authority in an area. One of the most common ones is entrepreneurship. I will hear people that say, I want to coach entrepreneurs, even though they have no background or experience being an entrepreneur. They've never sold a business. They've never ran a business. They've never led groups. They've never had payroll. They've never done anything like that. But they want to coach entrepreneurs. And I will coach them. I will talk to them and say, look, it's going to be very difficult for you to build this coaching practice because you lack undeniable authority. It doesn't mean you can't coach entrepreneurs. No one is saying none of you can't coach in a particular area. Of course you can. Of course you can coach in other areas. But can you sell to that market? That's where it will be challenging because they won't see you as an expert and they won't want to come to you and they won't want to choose you in a very high likelihood. That's where the break is. And that's where you've got to wrap your head around. That's how important undeniable authority is. Here's your second piece of advice with your undeniable authority is to avoid, with all great passion, avoid word traps. And even already on this call, before some of you joined, I was asking people what they did, and I saw some word traps. Let me explain what word traps are. What are word traps? They are high-level concepts that only the coach understands and that the general market doesn't. And the reason it's called a coach or a word trap is because they make the coach feel like they're communicating clearly, but all they do is confuse the prospect more. I'll explain. Here's the most common word traps. And some of you are going to start like panicking because you're going to see this in what you say. Here are the most common word traps. If you say, I'm a life coach, that's a word trap because your market doesn't know what that is. They're like, I don't know what that means. If you say, I'm a transitions coach, word trap. They don't know what that means. They're going to be like, that's confusing to me. And the more you say it, the more you confuse them. If you say, I'm a success coach or a mindset coach or an accountability coach or a wellness coach or a growth coach, all of those are common word traps. And all they do is confuse people and make them think, what do you do? Of course you're a mindset coach. Of course you're a wellness coach. I've never heard of a badness coach. Of course you're a growth coach. There isn't a coach that's about, negative, getting worse. All of them are. So avoid those word traps with everything you've got. You want to communicate in ways that they understand. Now, this comes up a lot. Don, what about my certifications? And some of you are seeing on the screen your specific certification right now. That was mine. Or I was just about to get that. Your certifications are great. And I'm not poo-pooing on your certifications. I'm glad you have them. But let me say this next part very carefully. Your certifications can make you a better coach. They will not build you a bigger practice. And the more you get, it will not increase your likelihood of leads. Because a certification only has value in accordance to the value your market gives it. I'll go back a slide. If your market doesn't know what an ACC certification is, then it's meaningless. If your market doesn't know what a PCC certification is, then it's meaningless. If they don't know what a certified high performance coach is, then you're going to spend a lot of time explaining why that's valuable rather than actually selling. If the market doesn't value the certification, it is not valuable. Now, it can give you undeniable authority. So that's where certifications can be awesome. If it can give you undeniable authority in an area, great, because then it gives you permission to coach in certain fields. That's valuable. Now, let me tell you something about Sam. Sam has been working. I worked with Sam now for a couple of years. Sam, when he started working with my business and what we teach, he was a speech pathologist working in a high school, and he was miserable. All he wanted to do was be a coach. So, sound familiar? It's just like so many people on this call. And he started his coaching practice, had 0 clients, 0 revenue. And he was very niched. He listened to everything we talked about. And he went very niched, decided to work with clients that had an Asian accent, and that wanted to be entrepreneurs. So, you can't get more niche than him. And in 1 year, he went from 0 to 6 figures. Now in his second year, he's on pace for almost $250,000. All because he's following exactly what we're talking about. I'm telling you, again, I said this at the beginning of the call, I'm going to say it again now. Everything I'm walking you all through is real methodologies that I use and I teach other people to use. It's not malarkey. And you're probably thinking, if I niche too much, does it leave money on the table? What if I lack experience? Does that mean I can't be a coach? Or what if I've already just gotten clients like through word of mouth? Do I really need undeniable authority? The answer to all of those is the same. If you don't get an undeniable authority, if you don't find it, you all have it. Start somewhere. But if you don't have it, you're trusting the growth of your business on the roll of a dice. You're trusting it on luck. Yes, all of you will get a couple of clients here and there. You will. A blind squirrel finds a nut. Everybody can get some, but it will not be consistent. It will not be scalable. Undeniable authority builds on itself. It helps you be attractive to your market. Don't use luck as a strategy. Use your skill, use your focus, build on your strengths. That's why it's so important. First essential for building this practice is get your undeniable authority right so you can attract more clients. Now, let me talk to you about secret number 2. Who feels this way? You tell me if this resonates in you. I don't like selling. I don't feel comfortable pushing myself in front of people. I know I'm a good motivator. I hear this one all the time. I know I'm a good speaker and a motivator if I just had the opportunities. I would love to be a speaker if I just had opportunities. And I know I'm a good coach if people just found me. I know people on the call are that way. We have 20 people. I know that would be so many of you. And that's where I want, as you as coaches, to have a little paradigm shift. Right now, so many of you wear your coaching hat all the time. Once you take off that coaching hat and put on your business owner hat, some of you are bad at that. I don't know which hat is which in this slide. I just watched Indiana Jones, is why I put the Indiana Jones hat on there. Okay. But put on your business owner hat because I'm going to talk to you about a way to help you think differently. All business owners must be selling themselves and their business 100% of the time. And if that makes you feel icky, let me explain what I mean. Selling, let me explain what selling is not. Again, this is supposed to be a salesperson that some of you probably think. Sales is not putting on a plaid suit, jamming a used car down somebody's throat. That is not sales. Okay. That is screwing somebody. And that is a different job. Okay. It's a totally different job. Selling is not sleazy. It is not deceptive. It is not lying, pushy, or skeezy. That is not selling. And if any of you think that is selling, I want you to get rid of that limiting belief. And if you don't know what a limiting belief is, I know 20 coaches on a call right now that would love to talk to you about limiting beliefs. Okay. In fact, I'm sure all of them would love to give you a free coaching session about that. Let me tell you what correct selling is. Correct selling is asking good questions, telling thought-provoking stories, getting your clients to consider who they are, and eliminating limiting beliefs. Now, if any of you are paying attention right here, you'll know all 3 of those bullets is exactly what you do when you're coaching. You're asking good questions, you're telling thought-provoking stories, and you're getting your clients to consider who they are and eliminate limiting beliefs. That's good coaching. And that is also the correct components of correct selling. Coaching is merely selling of an idea. Coaching and selling is the same thing, just transactionally. That's why every one of you can be great at selling coaching. When you do it the right way that I teach, you'd be brilliant at it. But too many of you are thinking it's this, some sleazy, weird guy with gold teeth. No, that's gross. That's awful. I don't want you to do that. You don't want to do that. I want you to do this. And the way to do this, one of the easiest ways is to pre-sell customers through what's called OPAs. Let me explain what OPAs are. I have to get a sip of water. I apologize. OPAs are other people's audiences. Okay. Other people's audiences. And when you have done your work to understand your undeniable authority, you really know what it is, you will learn that your audience congregates somewhere. Think about it. Okay. When you know your customers base and your audience, they're going to listen to certain podcasts. They're going to be a part of certain Facebook groups. They're going to follow certain types of people on Instagram. They're going to be a part of certain groups on LinkedIn. And that is where they congregate. And your job, with your undeniable authority, because you're going to be an expert, you're going to be a thought leader in that area, your job is to get on those podcasts and be a guest, or be a part of those Facebook groups and post ideas and comments, or to also follow those influencers on Instagram and comment on their information, or join those same LinkedIn groups and comment and share. And as you do, you begin to take advantage of other people's audiences, and you start to push yourself up to the top and become aware so that your potential customers see you in their audiences, and they see you as an authority, and they become pre-sold on your message. They become pre-sold on you, so that by the time you book them for a free session, it's easy, or at least easier, because their audience that they're connected to, they already trust them. And now that they see you in that light connected with them, well, then you must be a genius. And you're pre-sold. Now, let me tell you about Jeff here, okay? Jeff with Alleviate. When I started working with Jeff, he was managing multiple businesses, struggling to get in front of the right audience, struggling to manage all of his ventures. As we started to coach together and map it all out and work on OPAs, we created the simplest method by following exactly what I'm working through with all of you here. And in 6 months, his business grew by 50%. And now his business is on pace to do 4 million this year. I know you're probably going to get tired of me saying this, but I'm not giving garbage methods. If you'll just follow the recipe, you'll walk out with bread. If you'll just follow the recipe, it'll work time and time again. Now, some of you are thinking, like, do OPAs really make a difference? Or how do I even get on podcasts? That is so overwhelming. Let me explain how I do it. I average 2 podcasts a week. I use a service, Podmatch. Okay. If any of you want to know what Podmatch is about, and I'm going to use full disclosure, I am an affiliate of Podmatch. I get $5 anytime somebody signs up, right? So I'm getting McDonald's money anytime somebody signs up for Podmatch. But I do like to make it clear when am affiliated with somebody, I do use them. They use AI technology to line up people on particular podcasts. And I use them, and I average 2 podcasts a week in my market. And it consistently helps me stay in front of the OPAs that I want to be on and drive traffic not only to my site and my lead magnets, but also free consultations. I couldn't be more thankful for what I do with them. And already today, I've sent over a dozen people to their service. So I strongly recommend them, and there's other ones as well, just like them. The second secret you've got to pay attention to is take advantage of other people's audiences. Don't just try to do it on your own. Take advantage of them so they can find you, and the sales process can be easier. Now, with every coach on this call, I know you all have a positive mindset, but that positive mindset is not the reason your practice hasn't taken off. I know you're motivated, but that isn't the reason it hasn't taken off. I know some of you are strapped, some of you are tight on finances, but I promise lack of funds is not the reason your practice hasn't taken off. And I know some of you are getting calls from those scam radio companies saying you need to do a radio interview. And by the way, that's a scam. Don't do it. Or you're thinking, oh, if I just had my own podcast, that would help. That is not the reason your practice hasn't taken off. The main reason, the number one reason, is you don't have a sales system. Let me explain what a sales system is. It's 3 steps. You have to have consistent lead sources, multiple. You have to have a hook to generate sales calls. And then you have to have a follow-up cadence that you can follow consistently. Those three things: lead sources, hook, follow-up cadence. Now you're thinking, if you're like me when I thought about that, doesn't that take forever to develop? Don't I have to have scripts? Don't I have to have methods? Don't I have to test things? Doesn't it take forever? Yes, 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 and yes, and yes. It does. It takes forever. It's miserable. But I'm going to talk you through the easiest way to cheat on all of this. First, let me tell you about Dennis. I started working with Dennis 2 years ago. When I started working with Dennis, his coaching practice was 200,000 euros. They're based in Germany. That's why they use euros. And at 200,000, their coaching program, we did a few things very quickly. We got them niched correctly. We got their kind of program organized, what they were going to do. We got them in the right OPAs. And then we got their sales system really, really, really tight. Now, 2 years later, they're over 4 million. I actually think they're going to do 5 million this year. All because they're following the method that we worked on, that we continue to work on every single week. That is the type of growth that can happen when you really center down and focus on this type of work. Designing and building a consistent sales system will do more for your coaching practice than almost anything else. Now, this is one of you two, okay? You're one of these two things. You're either the dog on the left, you're so jacked up, you're grinning ear to ear, and I love dogs, so that's why I have that. I have 3 dogs at home. Or you're like the guy on the right. You feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. You're like, Don, you gave too much information and I can barely breathe. So you're one of those things. Now, I'm going to share something. I'm going to make sure I can do this right. I got to take out my headphones here real quick. Okay, can you guys see the video screen? Yes? Should be black? Just a black screen? Okay.
Oh, thank you. I actually just landed a client through Instagram just before I hopped on. Yay! Yay!
Okay, beautiful. And how did you land that client? Talk about that.
Well, I kind of followed your your script a little bit.
I have good news. Glenn paid, and I've never been paid like my fee like basically doubled since I started this class. Just so you know.
Okay, will you say that really clear so I can record that? We're gonna paste that. Okay.
My fee doubled since starting this class.
So my win for the week is I also got a new client into my private practice, and this is for the recording. I'm going to speak into my mic. Don, I used some of the things you've been teaching us, specifically packages and Panadoc. So this is the first time a client has said yes to the packages since I moved over to them this past 4 weeks, basically. So it was really validating that they sell.
Okay, now hopefully everybody can hear me. Yes? Let me make sure. Coming back on. Yes, everybody can hear me? Good. Okay, so I want to talk to you all about Numi Sales Academy. Okay, what I believe the best virtual sales development program for coaches. Numi Sales Academy is not. It is not a program to help you be a better coach. I'll explain that. It is not about being a better coach. It is about growing your coaching practice. That's what we focus on. Let me explain how it started. We built Numi Sales Academy over a year ago on the idea that every coach needs a coach. But the problem was coaches can be really expensive. You know this, you're all coaches. Coaches typically charge $6,000 every 6 months at least. And I didn't think that coaches in general could afford that type of a ticket. But as highlighted in that same Forbes article that I highlighted earlier, one of the most important aspects of growing your coaching practice, they found that almost every coach that grew their practice also hired their own coach. Not having a coach in being a coach is like being a hairstylist and not taking care of your own hair. That's what that funny picture is supposed to be. And I think that picture is super funny and no one has ever laughed at it. And I think that one's really funny. So Numi Sales Academy, its first idea is it provides real coaching that I run, me personally, at a realistic price for coaches, not thousands and thousands of dollars, but a realistic price for coaches. So that's number one. So it's weekly coaching and accountability. In fact, I'll go off script here for a second. I had a coaching session last night with one of the coaches in Numi Sales Academy. She has gone from 2 clients that she started the academy with 3 months ago. Now she's up to 10. And she said, Don, my favorite part of Numi Sales Academy is every single week I have accountability with all the other coaches that I have to look in the eye and know I better deliver. That's my favorite part of being in Numi Sales Academy. Secondly, we focus on selling, coaching, growing coaching. So many coaches struggle with the idea that they don't know how to sell. They think sales is sleazy. They think it's skeezy, or they think it's gross. And we focus on how to turn you all into be master salespeople at selling coaching the right way, the correct way, without being gross, in the true ways. It's just like coaching. So you can sell strategy development, process, and your own scripts. We'll teach you about social media. We go through your social media profiles, how to do social content, video content, and get it out there so that you can all be driving leads in multiple avenues. So you get social media evaluation. Plus, we teach you how to be a business owner, not a coach. You have to function like a business owner first while you're building your practice. So you get your business growth strategy and development plus technology. This is a new piece that's with it. All of our coach recordings are uploaded into the on-demand all-access membership site. You get access to the site 24/7 anywhere in the world there's an internet access. Once you become a paid member, you will have access to our previous 6 months of recordings. So you can go back through how to do Google Ads, email marketing, website development, you name it. All the previous topics we've gone through and will continue to go through, you'll have access to as long as you stay a member in the program. You'll have all access to the membership site. We have people that are international that can't attend the live calls that continue to stay just for access to the membership site. So you get all those pieces. Right now on this call, there are 2 types of coaches. There are those of you that are starting out that just don't want to waste all this time. You want to get moving now. Or there are those of you that are just bitter and tired and frustrated and are ready to scale now. This is for you, but I'm going to make it easier. We've got extras. There is the coaching practice workbook. If you're trying to figure out your niche and your undeniable authority, we have an entire workbook set up for you to figure that out. Exercises to go through and figure out your undeniable authority, plus the coach's resource kit, which tells you exactly my scripts, my texting templates, my email templates that I use to not only book appointments, follow up, but also close clients every single time. All those are included. If I put a valuation on all those things of what we would charge for every one of those pieces, it's easily over $100,000 a year, guaranteed if we did that on a private basis. When I look at what I charge on an annual basis for my private practice and business coaching, it's $60,000 annually on the low end. And that's where I was saying, I don't believe any of you would be paying for this if we charged market rates. But I want you to just ask yourself a question. If all this program did was get you your undeniable authority, get you in front of OPAs, give you a system that works, keep you motivated, keep you accountable so you could grow your practice. Finally, would it be worth that 60K? Absolutely it would. Now, I put this slide in because we just watched Indiana Jones. And if you haven't seen it, you should absolutely watch this killer movie. But there's a part of the movie where he makes a leap of faith. He can either walk away and be the same person he was at the beginning or make a leap of faith. The same can be said about you. At the beginning of this webinar, you were a coach and you could get off and say, I'm going to be the same person, or I can really go all in and go after it. This program is not $60,000 a year. It is $197 a month. That's not even what you charge one client. When I break it out on an hourly basis, if you're having 4 calls a month, that's $50 an hour. And there probably isn't a coach on this call that charges $50 an hour. Not one of you. And here's the bonus when you act now is that anybody that signs up today, this is where it becomes a ridiculous option. I'm willing to give it away the first 4 weeks for free if you'll jump in it. But now I want to make sure this is very clear. If any of you went and signed up for a gym membership for 30 days, expecting to see I'm going to lose 20 pounds, you'd be crazy. None of you are going to see that. You would sign up for a gym and say, for 6 months is what I'm truly trying to do. Of course, sign up for the 4 weeks. I would love that. But I want, if you're trying to be a coach and really try to change your practice, you're not going to change your practice in 4 weeks. You're going to change your practice in 6 months. You're going to change your practice by investing in it and staying accountable and pushing yourself for the next 6 months. Don't just go to the gym for 4 weeks. Push yourself for the next 6 months and watch the change occur. If you're serious about building your practice, be serious. It's the best thing you'll do. It's never going to get cheaper than getting real accountability and real coaching and real results like we're giving. You go to numi.com/sales academy, /sales-academy, and you can sign up. Now, something's wrong with the site. It's saying August when you go there, but the first call is this Thursday at noon. That's when the calls are, Thursday at noon. If you go there right now, that website, you can all sign up and you'll be able to sign up. And I run these classes. This isn't someone else. You'll see my energy, my ideas, my methods, things that I teach and do in my own practice. Now, we are just about at time. I'm going to put up this last slide here, and I'm going to stop sharing so we have a few minutes for some questions. Okay, just put them in the chat group. Okay. Anybody that has any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll ask them. Yes. Yep. If you sign up, you can get the Undeniable Authority workbook. Thank you, Ramona. Hope to see you on Thursday. I'd love that. Okay. And I love the heart. That was super cool. And if any of you have any questions about your specific practice, okay, you will, once you sign up for the first 4 weeks, Ashley, you will get the workbook. You will get actually 3 workbooks. You will get the Undeniable workbook. You will get the coaching resource kit. And it's not on the slides, but I have a coaching resource. I have a coaching planner that's an ebook form of what I use to plan my day every day. Some people like planners, and so there's a planner that you can download as well. It's all in the membership site. And Ashley, why don't you send me an email, don@accountabilitynow.net. Okay, I'll chat with you about it. Okay, I don't like it when people struggle there. I'll give you some pointers. Let's get you out of that. Yes, Ramona, that's where we're going to spend a lot of time on narrowing the niche. That's where we spend a lot of time in that 4 weeks. Don't you worry. We have a whole exercise with that. And I strongly encourage, if you're thinking about this, okay, 4 weeks is a great starting point to get you into the future of your program. We have people that have been in the program now called 9, 10 months, and they've never been thriving. We have one guy who, when he's been in the program, he joined 3 other coaches. They started a brand new business, and now they're in the process of landing big deals with Microsoft and other big companies, all from being in Numi Sales Academy. Any questions, fair game. People usually ask me, why do I look like Brad Pitt? Can't help it, folks. This is the moneymaker. This is how the face was built. That's another great joke. Justin asked, how many hours a week should I commit for Sales Academy? We do 1 hour a week. In the trial, it's every Thursday at noon. Once you're in the paid group, it's every Tuesday at noon. So it's at least 1 hour a week. And then once you're in the paid group, let me add to the offer. Once you transition into the paid group, those people, you get one 30-minute session a month with me as well. So in the trial group, where you just get we give you the 1 hour session every week. And then when you transition into the paid group, I also add one individual time with me where we go to your business, your site, you name it. We do a lot of stuff in that. Any other questions? Anything's fair game. You can ask things specific to your practice. That's totally fine. There is during the trial, the trial is a pretty set curriculum. Rosalind asked, is there a class curriculum? The trial has a fairly consistent class curriculum because that's repetitive. In the paid group, it is not a set curriculum. We adjust every month because it's always ongoing. And I set it, I usually set it, I work on it the month before, so I know what next month's is. So for give you example, in the paid group, this month, I'll give you guys a little insider because it's late on a Tuesday night and I don't mind, and you guys aren't going to get me in trouble. So the paid group this month is working on the second. Coaching has 2 peak seasons, and you might not know this. January is obviously the biggest peak season because it's the start of the year, and that's when the highest lead volume comes on Google AdWords and things like that. The second peak season is August 15th, back to school. Kids go back to school, and there's always a big spike in coaching leads all over the internet. And so we're working on all the people in the paid program. We're working on their marketing programs, their lead magnets, their offers for August 15th. Because you better have a marketing plan if you're going to grab market share for August 15th. Those are some of the things we're working on in the paid group to make sure they grow their practice aggressively at the second busiest time of the year. That's the stuff you've got to be thinking about. But you can't be thinking about those things if you don't know how to sell really well, if you don't know how to close really well. And everybody in the paid group has done so much sales training, so much sales coaching that they can sell extremely well. And you'll all get there if you're part of Numi Sales Academy, I promise. They've all niched, they've all got undeniable authority, and they use the right technology and the right tools to be great. We've got time for one more question if anybody's got it. I have not heard of Paper Bell, Rosalind. Oh, I've not heard of Paper Bell. That was a left field question. I was not ready for that one. Let me finish this as we're just getting done. Okay. There are some tools for coaches. I know, like CRM for coaches and different things that help coaches manage their business. Many of you will get an email, a text, or maybe even a phone call asking for a testimonial regarding this webinar. And if you do, it goes a long ways to give a 5-star testimonial for me and Accountability Now. So I'd love a 5-star testimonial if you get one. So hopefully you can all give that. Thank you so much. And Rosalind, I'm a big fan of any technology that helps you run your practice. Anything. Okay. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. You're amazing coaches. Stay at it. Build those practices. I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday.